Hi, good evening, guys. Vinyl community. Hope everybody's doing well. Here to celebrate Rob Walker. Let the music play. He's celebrating 2 years in the vinyl community as an active member. So well done, Rob. I just obviously like to say a little bit about Rob. Great guy, has a really interesting channel. Shows a lot of contemporary stuff, which I don't tend to, because I tend to listen to a lot of older music. But yeah, so he's kind of he's got his finger on the pulse in terms of a lot of modern music. Obviously, the Manchester bands. He's very into a lot of music, obviously, that originates from his locale. And he's done some great videos, on talking about some of his favorite artists from those areas like Joy Division, New Order, etc. So he's always interesting, and you never know quite what you're going to be seeing, which is always really nice. I mean, certainly in terms of the UK contingency, Rob is a major contributor, and he's just a very personable guy. You just warm to him immediately when you see him. When he's uploaded a video, and he's also very personable, very quick to show empathy, which I always really like about Rob. For instance, last year when Steve Carlson suffered the awful flooding in Michigan, and lost his entire record collection. Rob was straight away was there, one of the first to offer sympathy and support. And he's not frightened to talk about current issues and like COVID and so on, and give a sense of perspective with that. Great guy. And on a personal note, for me, he's always been there for me. He was one of the first people to welcome me into the vinyl community when I started making videos last year. And he's continued to support my channel ever since, as he does with a real broad spectrum of the VC. Great guy. So he's tasked us to come out with 5 artists that we wish or we'd like to have seen live. So I've put together 5 artists. This has been quite difficult because there's a whole host of artists that I'd like to see live. Both of who, some of whom are obviously still performing. Others who I couldn't see, obviously, because they're no longer, sadly, with us, or the bands have split up, or artists that just aren't recording anymore. And I've watched some videos as well already, and I'm trying not to repeat artists, even though some of which have been shown I would dearly have loved to have seen live. And I've sort of picked a cross section of genres and artists and bands that I would like to have seen, and obviously the specific era in which I would like to have most seen them as well. So let's kick off. So the first one is, in my opinion, probably the best, or one of the best live albums ever recorded, certainly that I've heard, and certainly comes a close second for me, behind Roy Harper, Flashes from the Archives of Oblivion, and this is Van Morrison. So this is his Too Late to Stop Now. It's a classic 1974 live album that he recorded in 1973. And I think, yeah, this is definitely the period of Van Morrison that I would have loved to have seen him. Once he'd kind of got established for a few years, he had some strong albums behind him, classic albums that he could obviously play material from, and obviously this New Caledonia um, orchestra, which he'd obviously got playing with him on this tour, obviously in superb form. And in my opinion, from what I've heard of Van Morrison, he really didn't better this live. So yeah, absolutely would have loved to have seen him live during this kind of period. So it's interesting with Van Morrison because there's quite a kind of split camp. It's a bit like with Dylan. Some people like his smoother kind of vocals when he was younger, obviously, and had arguably a greater range to his voice. And then others who prefer the sort of, obviously they've got older and more mature, and that sort of gruffer sound with the vocals. For me, he's always been able to have a little bit of that anyway. And I just prefer the musicality of his vocals from this kind of era. So but still a fantastic artist, and still going obviously today. So, and long may he continue. Okay, so sort of changing up a little bit. I was thinking of sort of classic sort of female jazz vocalists, or just pop vocalists over the sort of the decades that I've admired, that I really really love, and probably one that I've been listening to since I was young, and I've kind of grown up with, and I would certainly would be my favorite, would be this lady, and that's Ella Fitzgerald. Yeah, I mean, in terms of a performer and interpreter of classic songwriters like Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, and so on. I can't really think of anybody better than Ella Fitzgerald, and certainly to have seen her in her sort of 50s, sort of heyday, would have been, really something to behold. This is volume 2 of the Cole Porter songbook that she did, obviously covering a lot of classic Cole Porter songs. So, but yeah, Ella Fitzgerald would be very very much up there for me. Okay, another female artist, sadly again no longer with us. Somebody who I actually only discovered probably about 3 years ago. Heard her name, but never, before picking up her debut album, never heard of her before, and that's Judy Sill. So Judy Sill, obviously the Laurel Canyon artist, who's signed to Asylum Records with David Geffen. This is her second album, Heart Food. I've sort of, since getting into Judy Sill, I've been basically just going on YouTube and finding every little scrap of information I can about her, because she's just an endlessly fascinating character. Had a very very difficult sort of adult life, but very colourful and checkered as well. She's sort of robbing liquor stores, and obviously sort of quite a lot of heavy drug use as well. Quite a troubled spirit. Looked for sort of Christianity, and sort of delving into a lot of spirituality and so on, and just ultimately just trying to find herself. Probably quite like a lot of artists of not just her generation, but a lot of others. But yeah, I mean, she was no, as delicate and sensitive as some of her music is. She's certainly, when you hear her in the few live recordings that have been available or that I've seen on YouTube, she's no kind of shrinking violet. She speaks her mind. She's very much her own person. And obviously that comes out in the songwriting as well. Even though there's this kind of yearning to find something um, beyond yourself, or to, you know, um, but yeah, that engagement, when you see artists with kind of, you know, unbelievable depth in their character and personality. Obviously, Roy Harper, I've seen several times live. And he, you really get a sense of the man and the person, not just the artist and the music. So yeah, I would dearly have loved to have experienced that at a Judy Sill concert. She actually toured with Roy Harper as well. Ironically, I think in 1973. I think when she in the UK when she was promoting this album. So that would have been a fantastic gig to have seen. Okay, sort of around the same kind of era, and a 70s pop band that I absolutely love. Never gets tired and sick of listening to their music, and even though they're all very much still alive and still performing, obviously not as they are here. This is Tencc, and yeah, this would have been the original lineup of the four guys: Lol Cream, Kevin Godley, Graham Gouldman, and Eric Stewart. Several reasons why I would have loved to have seen them back in the day. I think they were a unique band. You wouldn't have. They didn't sound like anybody else, but they all came from sort of 60s backgrounds. They'd all been in bands before. Had a long pedigree of performing and writing songs individually, and then coming together with this melting pot of ideas and so on. Just fantastic. But the humor that comes through as well, some quite dark kind of sort of idiosyncratic humor, and just brilliant songwriting, and all fantastic musicians, and great performers from what I've seen of their live concerts. Yeah, would have been great to have seen them. But yeah, particularly the first incarnation of them when Godley and Cream were still with them. So that's 10cc. And to finish with, I thought I'd pick this band because I have a real love for psychedelic music, but particularly sort of the eccentric kind of UK sort of psyche bands. And I think that this band exemplified sort of UK psychedelia better than anybody, and that's of course Pink Floyd, but particularly from this era with Syd Barrett, 1967. To have seen them, at the UFO Club in London, where they were the resident band, I think would have just been an amazing, incredible experience. Obviously, one of the first bands to incorporate sort of light shows as well and effects with their shows. So I think, regardless of whether you'd taken anything before going to see them, I think it still would have been left a lasting impression on you. And certainly they were a unique sounding band with sort of Barrett's quirky kind of pop, and sort of strange nursery rhyme lyrics that he had and everything. But yeah, just to have seen the guys performing songs off this album from that kind of period would have been absolutely amazing. So yeah, so that's my 5. Could have picked a lot more, but I thought I'd stick to the rules, and just do those. So once again, very well done, Rob. Congratulations on 2 years. How the time flies. Certainly, my 12 months in the VC has gone very, very quickly. But yeah, all the best, Rob. You're a great contributor to the VC, and long may you continue to make videos. So all the very best, guys, and good luck, everybody in the competition. And I'll see you again very soon. Cheers, all the best, guys. Bye bye.